Alrighty, so today I'm going to be drawing a fish with this mechanical pencil right here. This is a BIC disposable mechanical pencil in 0.7 millimeter lead size, and the lead softness that is in this pencil right here is HB number 2. So it is a pretty standard size and a pretty standard softness for pretty much all schools throughout the United States. This was a very, very, very extremely popular mechanical pencil at the high school I went to, and it was still extremely popular when I got to college too. Today, I'm going to be using this mechanical pencil right here to draw a fish, and I am going to be drawing in my Soho Urban Artist Sketchbook, which is 5.5 by 8.5 inches, has 100 sheets, and is 75 pounds. I do think without further ado, though, let's go ahead and flip to an open page, and let's go ahead and get right to drawing the fish, starting off with the jaw. But first off, I need to actually get to an open page. Alrighty, though, I'm now on an open page. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over to landscape, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring my tripod just a little bit down so you guys can see all the details and everything like that. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get some lead out, and let's go ahead and get right to drawing. But before I actually get to drawing, I want to go ahead and talk about the weight of this pen. Now this pen, sorry, not this pen, get my words jumbled up. This is a mechanical pencil, not a pen. Now this mechanical pencil is of course very, very, very light. However, unlike a lot of disposable pens and other disposable mechanical pencils, this does actually have some weight to it. It's not evenly weighted like a lot of mechanical, but really cheap mechanical pencils and really cheap pens are. And I mean, like, when I say really cheap, I mean really cheap. This is like 30 cents a pop kind of thing. These are like $3 for a pack of 10, or at least they were last time I checked. These are super, super, super cheap mechanical pencils. So honestly, for the price, I'm actually surprised at how good the weighting of this mechanical pencil actually is. I'm sure there's some weight in it because of the graphite in the mechanical pencil, but honestly, a lot of the weight comes from this little shirt clip right here and the eraser and the plastic surrounding the eraser right here. In all honesty, that gives it a little bit of weight. So this is honestly more back heavy than it is front heavy, and it's not at all evenly weighted, which is something I really do like, although it is definitely still lighter than not. So if you're not really looking for the weight of the pen, you're just looking for a pen to write with kind of thing, or you're just looking for a pen to just use really quickly, you might not notice the weight of it. It's not a super significant weight by any means, but it is there nonetheless, which is really, really, really nice to see. Now this of course has all original graphite in it. It's never been replaced. From what I know, you can replace the graphite in these mechanical pencils right here, but it is kind of a pain to do so. I'd much rather just buy a nicer mechanical pencil and just have it where it's actually meant to have the lead replaced. This is disposable, so once the lead is out, you're supposed to get rid of it kind of thing. But let's go ahead and just start drawing the fish just like that. And we can just feel it is very, very, very smooth, semi-soft lead. It's certainly not the heaviest lead by any means. It is HB number 2, which is decently soft lead, but certainly not the certainly not the softest lead by any means, that is for sure. But it is definitely softer than not. And I'd have to say this BIC lead is a pretty decent quality kind of thing. It's definitely pretty decent quality lead. And it's not the greatest quality lead in the world by any means, but it's certainly also not the worst either. It's just cheap lead that does the job, and I am not very happy with how this fish is turning out, so this is a good time to go ahead and test the eraser, which works pretty well. I am by no means drawing super heavily right now or anything like that kind of thing, and when you're not drawing super heavily, the eraser does work pretty well. We can still see a little bit of the line right here and everything like that, but just going over one more time, and it pretty much almost completely disappears. Certainly no complaints on my behalf, that is for sure. Let's just go ahead and fix this real quick, just like that. There we go. And I'm thinking I want to fix this as well. So let's just go ahead and erase that. Just like that kind of thing. There we go. I kind of wanted this fish to look like this, and I'm much more happy with how it looks now. Let's go ahead and do the tail, though. So let's just bring that up. And let's just bring that down now. Just like that. There we go. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. Let's go ahead and do a massive eye right there. And a massive eye right there. And we can see that the pen started, I haven't used this pen in a while, I will admit, but this pen kind of started off a little bit sort of like hazy and whatnot, and as I've gotten into it, I've started kind of pressing down a little bit more, and we can see some darker lines over here, and it's a lot less hazy, I definitely have to say, just as we're getting into the lead piece itself and whatnot. Let's go ahead and start on the teeth, though, and we can see that if I'm using the tip of the lead and whatnot, we can get a really nice sort of just more small lead size, more I don't know how to describe it in all honesty. We get the tip of it, so we get the smaller lead, but then of course it just fades out pretty quickly, as this is not the heaviest lead in the world by any means, and it's not also the highest quality lead in the world by any means either. So it does fade out pretty quickly kind of thing. It doesn't keep its edge for very long, but it's a cheap mechanical pencil kind of thing. What do you expect? Now, one thing I saw a lot of people using these mechanical pencils for in high school was actually shading, which is kind of odd kind of thing. You'd think this pen wouldn't be really good for shading, but it's actually not terrible kind of thing. I've seen some very impressive work with these mechanical pencils. It's not terrible for shading. I'm bad at shading. I'm not going to be shading in today's video to any large extent. I will be shading a little bit, but it is still not actually a bad pen for drawing with. For writing with, though, I'm not really one for writing with mechanical pencils, I will admit. So I am biased. I don't really like writing with mechanical pencils very much. So as said, I'm biased, but I don't think it's the worst mechanical pencil to write with. But if I was going to use a mechanical pencil to write with, I'd much rather use something a little bit smaller, something like a 0.5 millimeter or something like that kind of thing, not a 0.7. 0.7 size millimeter pens are perfect for writing with, in my personal opinion. It's a little bit big for pencil lead, in my personal opinion, to write with, but it's not terrible nonetheless. You know, this pen, the lead definitely does go soft pretty quickly. It loses its edge pretty quickly. It is definitely softer lead than not, but it's not terrible by any means. And I do think, without further ado, it's now time for me to go ahead and finish up drawing this fish. I've drawn all of the details I wanted to draw, and now I'm just going to go over everything and just do a second layer that's just a little bit darker kind of thing. And I'm going to add just the tiniest bit of shading as well. And we can see adding darker lines, pressing down really firmly now. We can see those dark lines are coming in really well, and I'm using a lot more ink now, and we can see I just used the edge a little bit there, but it faded out pretty quickly, if I do say so myself. So if you want to use the edge of this to really get a really distinct line, you got to remember that it's going to fade out pretty well. But in all honesty, what I've been saying in today's video, it's all pretty standard stuff for basically any mechanical pencil kind of thing, any pencil at all kind of thing. It's pretty standard stuff. But this mechanical pencil by no means is a bad mechanical pencil, in my opinion. Is it a mechanical pencil I'd buy again? No, probably not. I don't think I would buy this mechanical pencil again. In fact, I don't even know if I bought this mechanical pencil. I don't think I've ever bought this mechanical pencil. I think this is a remnant from high school, and I think I found it on the ground or something like that, and I just took it. I think that's where this mechanical pencil is from. I don't think I've ever bought one of these. But would I buy it? I do suppose if I really needed a mechanical pencil right then and there kind of thing, I would buy one of these. But I would much rather just buy the raw lead itself and just put it in my pencil graph gear, in all honesty, which is meant to be a refillable mechanical pencil. It's got a better weight to it. It's a better mechanical pencil as a whole. But what this pencil is good for, in my personal opinion, is one, handing this pencil to children, because you already know they're going to lose it. It's 30 cents. Who cares if they lose it? Or if you just lose your pen a lot kind of thing, hey. Or if you lose your mechanical pencils, your pen, your pencils, whatever you want to call them kind of thing, a lot, hey, this is perfect. 30 cents. You lose it, it's 30 cents. Who cares kind of thing. So I think that's really what it's good for kind of thing. It's really good for just being really cheap kind of thing. That's why it's so good, is because it's so cheap. And that is why, honestly, I can recommend this mechanical pencil right here. I honestly can recommend it, surprisingly so. I wouldn't usually be recommending like super cheap stuff that I don't really consider to be very good. But this is by no means bad. It's not bad for what it is kind of thing, especially when you consider the price. And I think it's really good for just handing off kind of thing. If you just want to have a stack of mechanical pencils that are just there to use, this is pretty good, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. And not terrible at all, but definitely not to my preference drawing wise. It does the lead does smear pretty easily, but that's really no surprise kind of thing. It is HB after all, and it's definitely a bigger lead than not as well. It is 0.7 millimeter size after all, and the size of the lead is really why I say this is not really the greatest to write with kind of thing. I think the smaller the lead size you get with pens, the better they are to write with, and the bigger, the better they are to draw with, usually at least. So I think this is really good for drawing. I wouldn't really want to write with this pen too much, though, in all honesty. But it's still not a bad pen for that at all, especially if you write larger, or if you're handing this pen to a child, they're probably going to be writing larger, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go and do just the tiniest bit of shading now. Just like that. And there we go. That is the drawing all done. That's the drawing I did with a disposable BIC mechanical pencil. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. That is for sure. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching me draw a fish with a disposable BIC mechanical pencil. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have used this pencil before, and if there's anything you guys thought I forgot to mention about this pencil right here, let me know in the comments down below. It's by no means a bad mechanical pencil by any means, but it's certainly not the greatest either. But for the price, it's pretty good for what it is. I ain't gonna lie, it certainly is pretty good for the price, that is for sure. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you guys have enjoyed watching this video, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. box, and my main channel all in the description down below. Go check it all out. And of course, if you guys have any constructive criticism on this drawing right here that I did today, of course, please make sure to comment it in the comments down below. But until the next one, y'all, stay safe and peace and have a great one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying?